What is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Locks presented by Scores and Odds. If you haven't checked it out already, just making bad live choices, going over to scoresandodds.com where you got picks from me and Dino, all the greats. Plus, you get access to our nice little prop shopping tool where you can see exactly what we have projected for each individual prop, plus where the best lines at, and most importantly, get access to Grant's Action Lounge. What is Grant's Action Lounge? It's my Discord where I'm throwing in all my picks each and every day, so you can get in before the lines end up moving. Just go to scoresandodds.com/Discord after you get signed up for RG or Scores and Odds, and boom, you get it. I'm joined today by one of the best future bettors I know, one of the best bettors I know, Zachonomics, aka Zach Price. How you doing there, buddy?
Grant, great to be on your show again. I'm ready to rock and roll with some NBA props. I've been watching some golf this week. You know, PGA Tour season started. There's football going on, college basketball, college football. We got one more game. I mean, it's a great time to be a bettor right now. So,
I forgot about the Masters is coming up in a few months, and I forgot how much you crush that every year. Yeah,
that's
great,
coming up soon.
Great golf better.
Yeah, very, very excited to see the new season start here, and everything builds towards the Masters. So it's definitely one of the most bet events in all of sports, not just golf. So everyone should be playing around in this early season right now, betting golf, having fun in preparation for the Masters, which is the Super Bowl of golf.
Yeah, I'm just going to rely on you, and I'm good. Rely on you, rely on Noto over at Scores and Odds and STL Cards. They know what they're doing. They picked like 5 or 6 or 7 outright winners last year. Pretty impressive.
That's hard to do.
Yeah, no, I've tried picking outright winners, and I think I've gotten one by luck randomly, just because they give me DK would always give me the boost, like 50% profit boost on a winner, like or risk free over on FanDuel. I'm like, all right, F it, why not? And that's pretty much it. But we got basketball to talk about. We got a lot of games today. I don't have a ton of bets so far, and by not a ton, I mean like 20, 30, which is not a ton for me on this big of a slate. I think the other day I had like 70. I had 25K in play on just props, which is tough to do when you're limited. But we're just going to go right into it. We're starting off with the Philly game. Obviously, no Embiid here. And the one that immediately stuck out to me is Tobias Harris, over 16.5 points. He's averaging 20 per 36 on the season without Embiid on the floor. And over 2.5 assists. He's averaging 3 without Embiid on the floor during the season. Both these things seem just drastically too low. What do you think about those? I know you don't have any bets going right now for this game yet.
Yeah, I mean, with no Embiid, like Harris is just a terrific NBA player. So, he has that ability to step it up, to score points, to distribute, to I don't want to say take over the game, but he's an excellent player. And so when the stars are down, he has that ability to step up and have a star-like game. So I definitely have no problem with that. 16.5. I mean, he used to average well over that. So definitely like the Harris overs.
Yeah, and then on the other side, I seem to hit these every day, and it's been going poorly recently. But DeRozan over 36.5 points, rebounds, assist. Levine over 21.5 points, -112 over at Superbook. DeRozan over 26.5 points, -104 at Caesars. They just seem kind of perpetually too low. I mean, Levine has been very consistent recently outside of the last game, which cost me a lot of money. And DeRozan is just always a guy that's going to take a ton of shots. They always shoot a ton. Philly's not the same defensive team without Embiid in the lineup. And so like 234 total or 232.5 total, I think, in this game should be a close one, 3.5 point spread. Anytime there's going to be a close game, I'm rolling with the over on Levine and over on DeRozan.
Yeah, Levine's been concerning me for such a good score. His that last game that you mentioned was pretty awful. So I do like him for the most part to be in the 23-24 range. It hasn't been there, so just kind of watching him right now. But he's a guy who
he was in that range pretty much every single game outside. It's been against Brooklyn, against the Cavs, which two teams that have guys that can shut players down. So like I think it was more of a defensive matchup. I mean, who's really going to shut him down for Philly here? I don't think anyone's going to. Like maybe one of DeRozan or Levine doesn't end up hitting. I hit them both, but there's always a decent chance that both of them end up hitting in the spot. But yeah, next game we got Portland, I've got Nurkic over 26.5 points, rebounds, assists, -102 at FanDuel, and Simons over 3.5 3-pointers made, -115 at Caesars. There's a chance that Jeremy Grant will not end up playing. He's currently listed as questionable. That's kind of why I went with this. Like, I think the line's about where it should be if he does play, but if he doesn't play, it's way too low of a line. Great matchup going up against Indy. Should be a high-scoring game here. What is the total? Do you remember what the total is off the top of your head?
I want to say 230. Could I be wrong?
237.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it opened at 231, and it's up to 237. So it's moving. It's moving a lot. And this is just a spot where if Grant doesn't end up playing, Simon's easily hitting over 3.5 3-pointers. And he's already hitting that at close to or at over a 50% clip in recent games. So both these lines just seem way too low.
Yeah, I have Indy winning this game, and I have Halliburton having a nice game against Lillard here. So you can go over on PAR on Halliburton. I'm taking a double about -104. I think he's hit it about a 55% clip this year, and I expect him to step it up for this game going against Dame. So, yep, I'm with you on overs in this game, high scoring.
Yep, and same thing with the next game. We got the Nets going up against the Pelicans. I have a few overs in this, mainly guys I end up betting all the time. I see you have one over in this. I'll start off. I have Kyrie Irving over 35.5 points, rebounds, assists, -128 DK or Betway. Same thing. Nick Claxton over 11.5 points, -118 at FanDuel. Kyrie Irving over 26.5 points, -125 at Sports Illustrated, which their line was way off of everything else. And Kevin Durant over 28.5 points, -122 at FanDuel. I mean, I hit these lines pretty often, and it's pretty much when the game's supposed to be close, supposed to be high scoring. 231 total, 4.5-point spread. I just think this game ends up staying close, even without Zion, without Ingram in there. It still should stay decently close, and this is going to be a high-scoring game here. So I love those bets. You like something on Simmons, which doesn't include points. Yeah. So I therefore like it because
you picked up on that one. So I've noticed the Nets are winning. They're playing winning ball. They're looking pretty good. I'm a big critic of the Nets in general, but you gotta just call it as it is. And they've been winning. I think they lack a lot of defense that they're going to need in the playoffs right now. But Simmons, he's been getting his rebounds. He's been getting his assists in some of these high scoring games, which I expect tonight to be. And, he had a string of, I think, 4 games in a row where he had 8 assists. So I saw that his rebound plus assist prop was 11.5 tonight. So I went for over 11.5. I think, if he has a big game rebounding or a big game dishing the ball, he's going to hit that number pretty easily.
Yeah, I definitely don't hate that. Our projections are right around that number. So I think it's pretty solid there. Yeah. Moving on to the next game, pretty much just have Fred VanVleet over 5.5 assists, just too low of the number, -113 over at FanDuel. I'm guessing that number is already moved. Let's see here. -120. Still like it at -120. I forgot I also have Julius Randle over 27.5 points. He's just been, without Barrett in the lineup, he's been on unreal tear. And there was a while where I was hitting his under, but his under was at 30.5 points or 31.5 points. Had a rough shooting game the other night. Only shot 9 of 26 from the field, but we're not expecting that. I mean, prior games, 28, 35, 41, 29, 35, 29, 30 since Barrett's been out. He's playing 40 minutes a night. Like, this is not a great matchup, but 27.5 is too low. Where is this next best place for that bet? But I'm assuming, I know you don't like betting big numbers, but just his usage has been unreal without Barrett in the lineup. I think he's going over here.
Well, that game log is impressive. I didn't even realize what a tear he's been on.
Yeah, it's been absolutely ridiculous. Like, absolutely. He's playing some of the best basketball in the NBA right now in terms of scoring. But, yeah. I don't think you have any bets from this game, right?
No. I like. I mean, I had a great time watching the Raptors make a huge comeback the other day against the Bucks.
Oh yeah, unreal. And then what
I
was it?
just
Gary
happened to be
Trent.
watching that. I haven't been watching a lot. Getting in here in Ohio and everything, but I just was watching the end of that game and it was unbelievable. So maybe they can carry some momentum off that comeback and get some things rolling.
Yep. Yeah, I think they will. I mean, they've got too much talent not to. Next game I got is going to be Milwaukee going up against Charlotte. Just one bet here. Giannis over 52.5 points. Great, great match versus Charlotte. I don't think you have any problem with that, even at such a high line. He's been crushing it.
Yeah, he's been on fire. Unbelievable stuffing the stats. Charlotte. I'm going to take Charlotte plus 10 tonight, just on the record there. And again, like that Milwaukee game the other night, they gave up a 21-point lead in no time, and they had to put all their starters back in. So maybe, they're probably a little disappointed with that win in overtime. I'm gonna go. Yeah, Grant, I did have one prop in that game. It was Lopez's blocks. So Lopez 2.5. It was plus 120 where I saw it. He's going for defensive player of the year, and he had 6 the other night. So I like him to really continue this pace as long as he can. We'll see what happens, around March and April, if they're already in the playoff seeding. But right now, he's really going after it.
Yep. Yeah, no, I like that one. What are the odds on over 2.5 blocks?
I had plus 120.
That's pretty solid there.
I didn't get a good look at the market, but when I was looking, that's what I caught. So you could also take a blocks plus steals with him, but I just went straight blocks.
Yeah, I mean 2, 6, 1, 4, 4 over the last 5 games. He's been getting there. Few other bets from games that aren't terribly interesting. Jaden Ivey under 3.5 rebounds, minus 102 at FanDuel. Giddy over or under 38.5 points, rebounds, assists, minus 120 over at DK. SGA over 30.5 points. This is one where you can get drastically different odds depending on where you're at. I got it at minus 112 at Superbook. I think that's still available, but everywhere else it's like minus 125 is the best line. So if you have Superbook in your state, I'll allow you $100 bet. Throw that in there. Bet I really like Jimmy Butler under 0.5 3-pointers made, minus 115 over at Caesars. Butler does not shoot a ton of 3-pointers. He gets a matchup versus Phoenix. Phoenix is allowing the second worst 3-pointers made in the entire league, right behind the Jazz. Butler has only made one in his last 4, or only had one in one of the last 4 games, only had one in 5 out of the last 13 games. Bad matchup. I could get Bridges defense. I'm rolling with his under.
I like that. I've won a lot of money on Butler to not hit a 3. Some games he won't even attempt one. So,
Yep.
In other games he'll hit 4 or 5. But if you're betting under 0.5, you take the loss and you move on. Like you said, 1 in the last 4. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of thing. Like you look at his season average, and I think his season average is at 0.7, but he has a 4 3-pointers made game, several 2 3-pointers made game. So while the mean outcome is above 0.5, the median is well below 0.5. Like he ends up with most games he ends up with 0. Mm-hmm. So getting some 115 minus 115 is pretty solid. Also have Bridges and Ayton over on points, both over at FanDuel and Chris Paul. I mean, just their usage without Booker in the lineup, even in a tough matchup versus Miami, it'll be there. I don't think you had any bets for this game. We'll move on. DeJounte Murray under 33.5 points, rebounds, assists. Just hasn't really been there this year. Collins been doing a lot better recently. Over 14.5 points, minus 118 over at FanDuel. And you got to bet in the Lakers game. My main bet in the Lakers game is Pat Bev under 8.5 points, minus 130 at DK, minus 137 over at Caesars. I had his over last night without LeBron. I'm like, he'll get there. He'll get there. Nope, 4 points, barely played any minutes. 8.5, probably a bit too high for me in this spot. It's already moved to 7.5 at some spots. You like a few different LeBron props.
Yeah, this one. This is a strategy I've been using for quite a few years now. I call it the King's Cross. It's where you go under on LeBron's points, rebounds, and assists, and you go over on his assists. So what this does is, first of all, it all depends on the number. So tonight I looked, and the points, rebounds, assist number was 47 and a half. Way too high. I have LeBron at around maybe like a 42 and a half, 40, 41 and a half, 43 and a half. So when I see a number like 47 and a half, I take the under on the points, assists, rebounds. And then I protect that a little bit by taking a 6.5 assists over, because if he does have one of these, triple double games, then at least I'm breaking even if he has one of those monsters. But I think in most cases, he's going to be under that 47 and a half. So
Yeah,
get
no,
for a double win there. I think the double win's more likely than a double loss.
yep, yep. No, I don't mind that. I mean, you're getting the over 6.5 assists at plus 110, which is pretty darn solid odds. But
Right.
yeah, just got a few NFL picks. There's not, for some reason, there's none out for Sunday right now. I can't find any out for Sunday.
Right.
Really.
Very weird what's going on in the NFL. I
It's
was
week
wondering
18.
why.
Yeah, it's week 18. It's kind of all over the place. They were waiting on the news of the Bengals game and whether it was going to get played, because that changes the priority of teams. And so like the way they scheduled everything, it's weird. But I mean, for Saturday, I've got Dobbs under 185.5 receiving yards. I got Zay Jones over 53.5 receiving yards. I got Etienne and Henry both over their rushing yards. I think this game is going to have a lot on the ground. I know Titans are a solid run defense, but yeah. Anything else you got for me before we get on out of here? And where can we find you at?
I like Dobbs. So he was Cleveland's backup in the preseason, so I got to watch him during all the preseason games. I like that guy. Not a lot from me. I'm going to be on By the Book tonight on NBC Sports Washington. That'll be a fun show. I'll get to go over some more props and talk golf. DM me at Zachonomics on Twitter, and let's make some money.
Yep. Guys, it's been fun. We'll be back again on Monday. Good luck. I'm out of here. Later, kids.